Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health, heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, and fascinating health topics. And of course, where we do encourage you to call in and join in, become a part of the whole thing. The number to do that, well, you know it as 412-825-6262. And it'll be the number you can use to knock on our door today. The guest today runs the girls, we call them all the time, the girls. I say the girls are coming which day this month? Whenever I ask that question, I'm always referring to what day thermograms are going to be done in my office. And each and every month, the girls, talking about Judy and Susan, you usually come to my office and do a slew of patients, some brand new, some are doing the repeat annual thermograms. If you know a lot about thermograms, you absolutely want to pay attention. If you've never heard a thing about them at all, you'll also want to pay attention to learn about what they do and what they can do for you, as we have a discussion with Three Rivers Thermography, and the two girls will be here to talk about how thermograms can really give you an edge health-wise that heretofore you just did not ever even know existed. And they spread themselves around town. We'll try to find out, give you an idea of how you might be able to find them even geographically desirable to where you are. Judy and Susan will be with us right after that first break. Remember the number 412-825-6262 if you want to ask a question or to make a comment. Now, looking at our calendar as the month marches on, and there have been some additions even in the month of April, as the month is clicking away pretty rapidly. I enjoyed our show on Monday with Jerry Singleton. Like I say, every time I talk to Jerry, I'm learning something new about this MCG, and there was brand new research to even show where the MCG was much more predictive of your actual coronary status than the dreaded cardiolite scheme, where they actually inject dye. You know, it's a pretty commonly done study. MCG is head over heels in its ability to be able to help detect and make you aware of cardiac anomalies that the cardiolite scan just won't be able to do. So that was a new piece of information. MCG testing will go forward in our office on the 21st. We still have a few slots left, and by the way, they are closing up. You have picked up the gauntlet once again, ladies and gentlemen. We've opened it up to the public. We said, hey, come on in, give us a try. You have responded. We'll be doing all of these cases on the 21st from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. A few slots remain, the bulk of them later in the afternoon, but there are a couple in the morning too. You'll want to give us a call here at the office today, right after we get off air, sometime after 9 o'clock, when Kim, our office manager, can slot you in if you have a mind to getting the MCG testing done. Remember, insurance covered. Not only is the actual test insurance covered, the follow-up conversation with me going over the results of that test, the implication of those results, and I think just the best doggone thing that you always like to see when you get information such as this, what you can do to be able to change the results into the future. I think that's the big advantage of MCG testing. Okay, on Friday, and I'm getting ready for him. I'm reading his book. I'm going to stay a page ahead of this fella. We're talking about Dr. David Brownstein, become author extraordinaire. He's going to be with us talking about thyroid. It is a hot topic. If you even live anywhere near Western Pennsylvania, And if you're a female and you're living in this neck of the woods, you are absolutely at thyroid risk due to the fact that you were born, raised, and are now raising your own children smack dab in the middle of something called the goiter belt. Now, that goiter belt is not a garter belt. That's a goiter belt, as in thyroid-provoking disease. And as to why that happens, well, of course, there's no iodine in the soils, folks. And I'm going to be talking about the result of that, because thyroid disease is replete. It is rampant. It is endemic in this area, and especially women are more predisposed. Anyway, we'll be talking about thyroid disease and Toto with David Bronstein on Friday. Then on Monday, hey, you don't want to miss it. I'm getting excited about it. I hope we can understand the gentleman. By the gentleman, I'm referring to none other than Dr. Michael Kiriak, the Soviet scientist who put together the what we now refer to as BAC. That's bioengineered algae concentrates. It's sort of all supplements rolled up into one, where every single thing that you need from a supplement can literally be found in these algae concentrates that are cultured and grown in Siberia. Especially, we've heard the story many times. We've heard it, however, from the lips of Roland Thomas, who's been our guide in telling us about Dr. Michael Kiriak. Come to find out, he does speak English, they say, not too badly, and so we're going to have time to spend about a half hour with him from our 1-hour show on the 18th with Dr. Michael Kiriak, and I am looking forward to it. You don't want to miss it. In that same week, our MCG testing, and I just got done telling you about it, slots still available. The number is 724-942-3002 to take us up on our offer to invite you in for this 6-minute test. No fuss, no muss, fully clothed, lying on a table with ankles and wrists exposed. You'll be able to have your coronary arteries explored as though you were having a full-blown cardiac catheterization without ever having a cardiac catheterization. MCG stands for multifunctional cardiogram, and certainly multifunctional it is. And a few more slots remain. Don't forget to give us a call. Now, newly added to the schedule in April, I got to tell you, I don't know what's going on with that Freedom of Choice in Cancer Therapy group. They can't seem to get it together. You know, third Thursday of the month. I mean, this is, you could set your watch to them. And the past few months, and many times in the recent history of this organization, they've changed the date. Well, now they've done it again. I've got to make you aware of it, because if you're thinking third Thursday and you show up there, nobody's going to be at the day's end. They have changed the date to what now is the fourth Wednesday. What a switch that is. April 27th, a Wednesday. You'd have never thunk it if you didn't hear it from me. But the Freedom of Choice in Cancer Therapy guest this month on April 27th, I'm checking this once again, I'm sure about it now, April 27th, a Wednesday. Okay, it isn't the day's end, that doesn't change, the time remains the same, but Groundhog Day isn't coming back. This isn't a repeat. This is a completely different date change. Make the note of it. The featured speaker, her name is Ricky Pepin, and I'm looking at her bio here, and really intriguing bio. She bills herself as a Christian author, teacher, and a mom. Anyway, this mom is jam-packed with some information you can benefit from. The wife of a retired Air Force officer, and nonetheless a colonel, mother of 2, and grandmother of 3. So you could all relate to her. But her journey and her saga has enabled her to become quite an expert on how to manage, well, so many things, but in her journey with a chronically ill child that she who was she able to cure and correct from that healthcare problem when the experts could not, emerges a book I'm interested in talking about that book because I'm going to have Ricky Pepin on my show on Monday the 25th. The book is called God's Health Plan, The Audacious Journey to a Better Life. This book is getting acceptance. It's won a 2008 Gold Medallion Award. Her book is being used as a university course in many universities throughout the country. I want to hear from this fine lady, her contribution and her personal saga when she tintillates you on the 25th and she actually comes to town on the 27th. Make that change, please. Or, boy, if you show up, you've missed her by a full 24 hours. And you missed, no, by a full week if you show up on the third Thursday. Anyway, as you can see, rather confusing. You got to follow the dates here, folks. You can't do it without a schedule. Then, on the 27th, as a guest we're going to have on our radio show, we got Brian Foltz coming back with us. Now, Brian represents a really unique company, and there's so many supplement companies out there, and there are so many good ones too. None better, I say, than one on the top of everybody's list called Standard Process. Unique founder, Dr. Royal Lee, invented so many approaches to the supplement and the selection of and the ability of supplements to help in so many ways. We're going to be dealing with one of the experts that represent the company. His name is Brian Foltz. He was with us once before. He's coming back. We were in the office yesterday just kicking us around because so much time has been spent by me and will be spent with Dr. Brownstein circling around the issue of iodine and thyroid. We thought you could all benefit out there from learning how you might be able to take care of that situation all on your own through the use of the supplements that are put together by the Standard Process folks. So Brian Foltz, our guest on the 27th, enjoy having him back because it's been quite a few months since he's been here with us. As we do turn the page at the end of April, I'm looking into May so far. Oh, you can't forget, we've got the eye treatment seminar coming up with Dr. Edward Condrat. That's going to be in the second week of May. Dr. Ed has been on our show the past 2 Fridays talking about the conference itself, allowing you to be able to call up and ask some questions, and you certainly did respond with multiple questions that you have about your own personal eye situation. That's fine. Hopefully you'll take us up on our offer, one of two, or both, really. A general seminar, a completely free seminar, will be held in my office here on Monday the 9th. Now, we usually hold these on Sundays, but as you know, and we did screw up a bit, Sunday the 8th is Mother's Day, and so I had to change everything around. Anyway, the free seminar will be here in my office. It'll be on Monday evening, 6 o'clock, 6 to 8 in the office here. And you can call and schedule a seat reserved for you at this 800 number, 1-800-430-9328. Now, by coming to that seminar, you'll have the opportunity to meet Dr. Ed Condrat, myself. We can both share a little bit about what we do and some advices to you, and then just open it up and allow you to fire questions at us, allowing you literally a free consultation with some input by us on your own personal situations. I think it's a great benefit. I hope you enjoy and take us up on our offer. If you decide, however, you have an eye condition that you currently are not happy and pleased with your responses to the conventional medical care you've been receiving, then, as you already probably know as a listener to this channel, the optional and alternative and progressive ways to handle these things, which are not within the command of the conventional medical community, are where we really shine. And because it shines so well in other areas, don't think for one moment there isn't the capacity to improve your vision when others say, well, there's nothing that can be done. This is, and we found out from Dr. Edward Condrat, sort of a mantra. It's a battle cry. Whenever we hear it, nothing can be done, it's when guys like he and I and others jump in and take it on as a personal challenge. And so oftentimes a whole heck of a lot can get done. So it's a treatment seminar where he actually is going to be treating you over a 3-day period. And that will be on the 9th, 10th, and 11th of May. If that interests you, there were a few slots remaining. He likes to keep the number no greater than 10. I think there were 7 that signed up as we last spoke to him. That number, once again, 1-800-430-9328 to either reserve a seat or to be able to enroll yourself in the treatment seminar held here on May 9, 10, and 11. Okay. Whew, gotta take a shower. It's quite a bit. Let's do this. Let's take a short break. In the interim, I'll go find the girls because we got to talk about thermograms. Yes, we do it every so often anyway. They say, hey, can we come on the show? We got some specials that are coming up. We're going to try to offer the folks. We'll find out about those specials in just a moment with Judy and Susan when we return.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Want to help your family eat healthier? Instead of learning to disguise tofu in wondrous ways, how about some real nutritional power? If your family has the typical American palate for fries, pizza, and burgers, giving your family the blessing of good nutrition is a struggle. Fruit of the Spirit is the answer for your family's nutritional needs. Fruit of the Spirit is an all-natural, whole fruit puree made from fresh fruits native to the Holy Land with alkalizing minerals. Fruit of the Spirit was 5 years in the formulation, the work of a team of top nutritional experts with independent science to confirm its antioxidant power. 1 ounce a day provides the equivalent of 5 servings of fruits and minerals. Fruit of the Spirit is convenient, affordable, and delicious. Even your picky family will sing the praises of Fruit of the Spirit. Give your loved ones the blessing of good nutrition. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. That's 1-800-442-3793. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you on this Wednesday version of the show, and as announced and anticipated, we've got the girls with us today. Now, they come back on board with us every so often. I see them every month here in my office. They're all over the place, folks, and go to a number of physicians' offices throughout the entire Western Pennsylvania area. You find them in New York and Maryland. They are liable to show up anywhere. But every so often we bring them on board to, well, reintroduce them to you, allowing you to get a chance to know of them and what they do. Introduce to you, just maybe for the first time, a concept of thermography, which especially in the way of protecting you with breast cancer issues, is probably the #1 way to do it. Today we're back with them again. They are in my office on the 21st this month. They're all over the place the rest of the month. Let's say good morning and welcome them back to both of Judy and Susan. Hello, girls, and how are you doing today? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to hear neither of you. I can't hear one of you very well. Let's try that again. Good morning, and let's see how you respond now. Go ahead. Hello?
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
There you go. Well, there you go. Okay, that's a good strong one. Now, that's Judy. Now, is there Sue in the background also? Hello? Judy?
Here.
Are you, are we both on? Both Judy and Sue?
Well, actually, I think it's just one of us at the moment, but we'll get it worked out.
Okay, you get it worked out. I'm talking to Susan now, huh?
Yes, this is Sue. Yep.
Hello. Okay, let's get those formalities out of the way. We'll try to get Judy hooked up with us in a moment. We can absolutely start it off with you, Sue. I've been really enjoyed for a number of years now our relationship with you at Three Rivers Thermography. You go about your job of helping folks get an awareness of their health care issues in a way they really can't do conventionally. Most particularly, I'd have to say that the number one study that gets done are when women come to see you in an attempt to try to get an edge with respect to breast cancer. And in many cases, they're trying to avoid also the dreaded mammogram. You're head over heels, in my opinion, with respect to the ability to provide them with that edge. Talk to us a bit about what a thermogram is, because I'm telling you, there are people listening to us right now who've never heard of one, and you should be able to do it pretty much on cue. So what is a thermogram? What is thermography? And we'll start it at the basics of just answering that question first.
Okay, well, that's a great question. Well, it's pretty simple, actually. Thermography's been around for quite a few years, but medically, I guess it's really grown leaps and bounds in the last 10 years. So we use a digital infrared camera that measures the heat underneath the surface of the skin. And those temperature readings can indicate whether there's inflammation in the body or disease or many other types of conditions that be problematic for people. So the nice thing about it is non-invasive, no dyes, no radiation, no compression to the breast. So we're pretty proud of that. And one factor that everybody should note out there, that it is very, very different than mammography. We are not trying to compete with mammography in any way. We're more of an adjunct procedure, or a procedure that gives more information, different information than you will get from a mammogram.
What kind of information would that be?
Well, actually, it's going to give you an early indication or an early warning of any kind of inflammation, or what they call angiogenesis, which is increased blood flow to a particular area in the breast that is abnormal. So that, can give a woman a lot of time to go forward with preventative medicine, because it's much earlier than a mammogram would be when it's positive.
Yeah, I'm always interested in that size component, where I've said that mammogram really, those lesions are detectable about the size of a centimeter. I think it's fair enough to say that's usually when the real ability to detect with mammography first becomes possible. Now that, of course, still is in a breast where breast density is not a problem, because I got to tell you, it's a problem in over half of the ladies right off the bat. Sometimes lesions can be quite large and be completely missed. So that little error that's built into a mammogram is taken out of the equation with respect to a thermogram, wouldn't you say?
Yes, doctor, that's true. Many of the mammograms instead are not able to detect any kind of lesion that's smaller than that. So we are, like Susan said, prevent that development by thermography.
And the size of a lesion, that is very easily detectable, can be all the way down to about 1 millimeter. That is an amazing small size, yet because of that word that you used a moment ago, neovascularization, where literally, or you said angiogenesis, I think is the word you used, but it is where blood vessels, if there's a malignant tumor in play, this malignancy is not real happy about the meager blood supply that it's receiving in order to feed itself. Cancers are pigs for your nutrition, and they have it's almost heretical to think that a God-given ability to secrete a hormone called VEGF that allows them to build blood vessels around themselves and disproportionately receive blood supplies, that they, with those blood supplies, can grow and get very healthy in a very unhealthy way. And that little neovascularization process is what becomes extremely visible. Wouldn't you say that's the real hallmark sign of the malignancy that we're all looking for as these thermograms get done?
That is right. That is our main goal is detect those any information for each of the genesis is an eye opener to preventative treatment.
Well, I can tell one thing. Whoever is, it's Susan who's up against the phone, and Judy, you're out in midair because we hear you broken up, and we're hearing Judy just fine. Maybe you need, or we're hearing Susan just fine. Maybe you need to switch back and forth on that receiver as a little bit of a hint that we're not picking you up very well, Judy, whenever you're speaking. Okay?
Okay. Is that
Right?
better?
Yeah, that was a little better. Yeah. So. You travel around. This month you're going to be doing these thermograms in my office on the 21st. But talk to us a bit about where you do go. I mean, you go everywhere, don't you? At least every time I'm checking on where you've been last, it's always an amazement to me. Oh, my God, you're going there now? Where do you go, girls?
We do get around, Doctor. We take many calls from the outskirts, many different practitioners that feel that their clients need this in their area. So we do visit the outskirts of Pittsburgh. We're in the north, Butler. We're on Butler up in Erie. We go over to the east, Altoona, PA, Gettysburg area. South, we're down in Waynesburg. We get around, and it never stops, right? Jamestown, New York.
Jamestown, New York. That's right. That's one I hear from you. I guess what the
procedure, and you know, it's just not that readily available in many of the outfits. So it keeps us on the move.
Well, and the good news for the listener today is, as always, would like to be able to pass on to them, is that yes, you come to my office, but I might not be so geographically desirable to a lot of listeners who are listening to me now. But after what you just heard, listeners, as you can just imagine, they're at a theater near you. So if you give them a call, by the way, why don't we give them a phone number that they can call to check up after we're off air today to find out just where you might be local to them to help them out geographically instead of having to come all the way down here. We would encourage them to be able to do it closer to their own homes. What phone number would you have them give you a call at?
Well, Doug, our home office is in the North Hills, very near the Rock Park Mall. The phone number here is 412-548-3612. And when you call here, we can give you an estimation of the closest office in the area.
Very good. Take us up on it at 412-548-3612, ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen, too, this is not just a study for women only. It's just that because mammograms, now I get to say this, the girls really can't, but mammograms are just such a, they're really not very beneficial in my opinion, whereas the thermogram has so much more to offer and protective in a way that, in a non-invasive way, you get a negative thermogram, you can take it to the bank, go out and celebrate with your husband, because that means you're cancer-free, in my opinion. If you get a negative mammogram, I'm not so sure you can do that kind of celebrating. So anyway, works out great for the ladies that there's this new procedure out there. I will tell you, and let me ask you, because you might be finding that there's some pockets of decreased resistance out there, but for the most part, I've always just figured that the conventional medical community, especially OBGYNs, they don't really know what thermograms are, or at least they didn't know what they were. Are you finding any elasticity in that? Are they starting to wise up to the fact that there are such a thing as thermograms and they could potentially be beneficial? Are you finding that existing anywhere?
I think it's happening more and more as we, go through this process. We've been doing this for 6 years, and basically when we began, nobody even knew what the word thermography meant. Maybe you did, but not many others. So we've come a long way since that time, and what we've found is a lot of our clients are taking their testing back to their physician or their OB-GYN and basically having them look over it with them, and we get, a variety of responses. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, but for the most part, our clients are educating their doctors. That's a really nice thing to see, and I think women are finally stepping forward and saying, look, I've done my research. I mean, there's so much on the web. Our website, threeriversthermography.com, you can find a lot of information there, but there's many out there if you type in breast thermography. And you'll get the positives and you'll get the negatives. And what's nice is they've done their research and they decide that it's worth their time and worth their money because it is self-referral, self-pay. Spend $150 and get a breast, gives them more and different information than they're getting from their mammograms. And we just find that very encouraging. I think that seems to be the current health wave for taking their own hands, being preventative, doing their own research. And I think it's so encouraging in America today that that's where we're moving.
Well,
you have had a lot to do with that in helping, people to, look at those different options that we have, and not just thermography and mammography, but so many testing procedures and different kinds of treatments, natural as opposed to drugs, things like that. So people like yourself, Dr. Courtney, I mean, I really it's been phenomenal what you've been able to do. We appreciate it.
Well, I really enjoyed being there in those early days when really it was the dawn of the use of thermography. Your equipment got so much better from the earliest of days. It's evolved now to these very sensitive digital cameras that you've described, and you've got the newest version of them out there. After all, it's picking up heat signatures on the skin level and at quite a distance away from the body, but it's able to portray those differences in temperatures in a colorful display which can easily determine hot areas and cold areas throughout the body. By the way, talk to us about the general display itself, because there are all sorts of colors that can show up on these things. How is it that these colors are interpreted?
Well, we have a color scale. Actually, the camera measures underneath the surface of the skin, like I said earlier, and the computer program attaches a color to every specific temperature, as specific as 1/100th of a degree. So it takes that information that the detectors measure on the camera, puts it into the program, so doctors get a visual of what temperatures are underneath the surface. That visual gives indicating factors on whether there's inflammation, whether there's what's interesting is, since we've been doing this in the last 6 years, the information that the doctors have gotten, they've just gotten so much better at actually interpreting what they're reading. So not only can we detect a possible early breast, but we can also test estrogen dominance, oftentimes precursor to pathology. We can also see fibrocystic breast. Of course, there are many natural treatments for today. So we can also see lymphatic glands in the breast, sometimes cause discomfort for many women. That can be concerning because they don't know why they're. But doctors interpret those slight differences of the temperature pattern. They can all be addressed. So many women that are, out there today thinking, oh my breast is sore for the last 5 months. I don't know what to do. My mammogram negative. Want more information, more specific, maybe test different information. I highly encourage them because it's a peace of mind.
It certainly does, and we'll do that. I claim if your thermogram comes back negative, go out and celebrate. And you can celebrate for the entire year until your next one is due. What a great way to get the relief and get the monkey off the back, so to speak. And I say with mammograms, that just is not possible. To get a negative mammogram just should leave you in almost a duh, and not duh winning either. You could definitely be losing and not even know it. How frequently that does occur. It's a very big blemish, and I'm saying it, not you. It's a very big blemish on the conventional medical community to have the mammogram, a 1950s study, literally. It's been in play that long, and it hasn't changed that much. It's pretty much still the same as it was in 1950, and we're in 2011, and there just needs to be something to replace it. And I say this, ladies and gentlemen, I think we found the one to do just that. With respect to the actual exam, why don't we do this? Let's take a short break. When we come back, I want you to describe for our listeners, our ladies here, who maybe have never met you all before and are out there thinking, geez, I might like to do that. Could you describe how an exam is actually performed, how long it takes, and things like that?
Gotcha.
Okay, folks, we got Judy and Susan here. They're both intelligible now. We can hear them. Let's let them speak some more on how the exams are done, how long they take, and whatever other pertinent information they think that you may need to know. So we'll be right back with Judy and Susan talking more about thermography with Three Rivers Thermography today.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith. Let Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to AM Impact on Your Health here in a Wednesday morning version of the show. We're with 2 young ladies. You've certainly heard from them before. It's nice to have them back. They do a wonderful yeoman's job throughout the entire tri-state area, bringing and making available this unique study. It's very difficult to find, but yet I'm sure they're playing in a theater near you. All you need to do is give them a call at their office, 412-548-3612, and they can let you know where the closest availability of their study will be for you and allow you to sign up and enjoy it in a much more convenient, geographically pleasing way. If you're in my neck of the woods, that pleasant task is going to be accomplished on the April 21st day, on a Thursday, where they're coming back to my offices. So, ladies, Judy and Susan, this study, we're talking about the breast component. How is it that the study gets done? Describe for our listeners the process from the time they enter to the time they leave and how much time that involves.
Okay, well, when you're scheduled for, say, a breast thermography, you arrive at the office at your scheduled appointment time. We have you change into a nice, comfortable terry cloth robe, undressed from the waist up. Then we have you come into our private office, fill out a few forms, make and health, and then we begin taking the images, one stroke to below the breast, take about 7 or 8 images, and then we have to go ahead and get dressed again, come back into the office. At that time we go over each of the images, show the client,
what the physicians are looking for on the report and what they might find on the report, and give them a time to ask any questions they may have. And then that full procedure takes approximately half an hour. If you're coming in for a little bit more, say an upper body or a full body, we allow an hour.
Now these...
They're the same procedure. We only undress the area that's being looked at and always have the robe available for parts of the body.
This ability of getting full body scans and elaborate on that a bit because we oftentimes disassociate the thermogram with the breast. It's an excellent tool in breast health, absolutely. But it turns out that it can be so much more valuable than just detecting breast issues. And so why would one consider doing these more fuller body scans, upper and lower torso and the like, to what end? What is it that is detectable? Why would one want to consider doing such a thing? Could you take that one for a moment?
Sure. Obviously, the breast imaging has been the most researched, most research coming out on the breast. As you mentioned, as the procedure has grown, many other body parts are valuable testing for detection of any kind of inflammation in the body or beginning disease. We have a special right now that is called Women's or Men's Health Screening Plus, which includes head to and through the abdomen, to pelvic region. In the head region, people are usually concerned about dental pathology, which is a type of active infection that they might not be aware of, root canal in the past, sinus evaluation, most likely headaches, root cause of headaches, TMJ condition, going down to the neck, get a very good evaluation of the thyroid gland, parathyroid, and carotid artery, and then the cervical spine. And that's the head and neck region. Then we also include the chest or breast, which we talked about. And then the abdominal region, we're looking for any pathology that may be detected or changes in the organs such as gallbladder, gallbladder, liver, pancreatic, and many different bowel systems. And also in going into the pelvic region, there's many reports coming back with detect uterine or prostate, which is very good warning signs that have no symptoms.
So multi-organs possible to visualize when that heat signature can literally extend upward. It can be a pretty deep organ. It just has to do with the amount of heat that organ can generate that could be then able to change the skin temperature in its traveled upward. So sometimes there could be disease in an organ and it is not detectable. I think that we should make that point clear, that every single pathology that every organ has, even though there could be an inflammation associated with it, the thermogram doesn't necessarily, is not going to pick that up. And it's not a foolproof exam when it comes to these deeper organs as compared to the breast where it is pretty foolproof. Could you elaborate a little bit on that, the depth of the organ and the ability to detect inflammation?
That is correct. It is just meant as the overall function of those organs, not detecting tumor sizes or cysts or specific abnormalities. Giving them an overview of the function of the organ based on the autonomic nervous system, and that is how the heat detection comes to the surface. We have many, the upper body includes the spine, many conditions of pressure from the spine that may be causing nerve infection, leg, or sciatic. Those are pretty clear. Also around the kidneys, the adrenal glands, very specific for hypofunction.
Now, I have an interesting query that just came up this past week, and it had to do with thermograms. I'm going to throw it out to you, because I think when that query came up, it caught me a little bit off guard, and I see where it would be really helpful to explain it to all the ladies out there. But I'm thinking one particular patient in mind that has been doing thermograms for a long time. by the way, she has a history of breast cancer, so she was utilizing, after she had her surgeries, and well as the way she had changed her life in order to improve her nutrition and detoxification and everything else, she had used the thermogram as the best way she felt to be able to keep monitoring her situation. Now, to her dismay, what I think she was left with discovering was her focus on the breast really was ill-advised, to the extent that after surgeries are done, after lesions are removed, and the breast literally cleans itself up, there is no lesion that is visible, and the other areas of the body were ignored, where you could get potentially a abdominal metastasis to spread for. That could have been detected, or thoracic spread, and this wasn't really being looked after, by her at least, and she was a little confused about how, as a cancer patient, after cancer has been detected, how to use thermography. Because I will tell you that as I meet cancer patients in my office, the very first thing I do is say, you need to get a full body thermogram, because we need to be looking for lesions elsewhere. And I thought it was an interesting thing that the patient posed to me, was her lack of clarity on what would be expected in the breast. She felt very wonderful that the breast coming back negative. Well, yeah, because the surgeries had been done in that area. But if a full body had been done, maybe it would have been able to detect other areas. Do you see the conundrum that this patient was put into?
Yes, I do, and I know who you're referring to, and we felt the same way when we're following post-cancer patients. We're well aware that they often return in another area. Not, for us to have them do more scans, but many clients do understand that concept, to come in and have at least an upper body scan to make sure there's no development. And we have seen clients, unfortunately, develop lung cancer. Several years have cleared on breast cancer. As you know, there's other organs like liver and kidneys that it can also metastasize to. So I do appreciate the fact that you point out this situation to many of the clients, that you can't just concentrate on the areas that have problems. There's a lot of post-thyroid cancer. And again, the connection between thyroid and breast is so relevant that we often see more than just the thyroid, or at least do your research, let us know. So it was unfortunate that she was only concentrating on the breast. She had done well for a number of years, but now is dealing with metastasis. So she's continuing to follow with us. Hopefully,
Oh yeah, and I just emphasize this thing about having mentioned a moment ago, that the very first thing I'll do is I have a discussion with the cancer patient, the bulk of which are coming to me, and they've never had a thermogram at all. Okay, they really had their breast cancers detected by conventional means, and by the way, that has usually meant that they discovered a lump, and it wasn't the mammogram that picked up the lesion first. And these are in people who are doing mammograms every year. I hope you're getting the message out there, ladies, that mammogram had let them down too, and they would get them every year. They found the lump, and that led to the identification of a malignancy. But as I'm saying to all you ladies out there, the very first thing that I'm going to do in a patient that I'm meeting who had a diagnosis of a breast cancer, and even metastatic breast cancer, is I want a thermogram. And here's the reason I want it, girls. I want to be able to see, is there a lesion that is positive on the thermogram that I can compare to a similar lesion detected in that same patient on a PET scan. And if I can do that, what I'm then able to do from that point forward is I don't have to subject that patient to future PET and CT scans to follow the course of the disease. I have a non-invasive way to track this disease until it's eradicated, until that heat signature is extinguished, and it won't require this patient to get any more exposures to any more x-rays, which literally in the conventional world where the CT scan rules the day, lets these poor patients glow in the dark with the lights off because they get so many CT scans. That's my opinion.
and there's a lot of research out now that is proving that preventative, so to speak, scans that are causing radiation times are more harmful than helpful as far as the detection of from the radiation. And the two scans you talked about, the thermogram and the PET scan, I've seen patients here that you've been able, like you said, to follow without invasive procedures, including biopsy, which is pretty sure two scans that they need rapid treatment.
Yeah, also all sorts of flexibilities open up. Of course, we always want the use of thermogram as a preventative, but this is one of the first times I've actually talked on the air with you about how, when a diagnosis of cancer is made, and I will say that the bulk of these are made in women who've never even had a thermogram at all. They were done in a conventional way, but I'm usually seeing them far down the road when metastatic spreads have finally manifested, and now these things are in lung, they're in liver, they're in brain, and so to prevent the need for so many doggone X-ray procedures, it's really nice to identify a lesion elsewhere that you can confirm on a PET scan is a malignancy, and once you've done that, then you can put the PET scan aside, because the goal of treatment would be to eradicate the lesion, and you haven't eradicated anything until the heat signature goes quiet on a thermogram. So once again, mention it as a tool that I use when breast cancers have been detected, yet you are out there without breast cancer in your history, hopefully considering the use of thermograms to act as your best preventative against cancer, at least in terms of early detection. Fair enough, girls?
Fair enough. And there's also a condition known as inflammatory breast cancer, which is never detected on mammogram because there's no actual tumor to detect. So it's inflammation infiltrating the tissues of the breast and it's cancer, and then it's not detected and it's very aggressive cancer, clearly detected by thermography.
Absolutely. Very good point. Well, we got a caller calling in to maybe ask you girls a question. You don't mind taking them, do you?
Love to have questions.
Come on ahead. You are in the store with Judy and Susan. Go right ahead. What's your question?
Hi, I am BRCA2 positive. I had an operation last year. They found hyperplasia. So they say that's not cancer, but it has the potential to turn into cancer.
Okay.
So I had it removed. Now I go this year for my mammogram, sonogram, MRI, and then I had to have a biopsy again, and they found the same thing. I'm wondering if I get the thermogram, am I working backwards? Because is that where you would send me if you do find something?
You are getting run through the mill here every year based on hyperplasia, which is not a malignancy, as you have been advised. And I'm sort of jumping in here, girls. You don't mind, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I would say that because you're most fearful of the change of hyperplasia to a malignancy, that a thermogram would be ideal for you, ma'am, in order to be able to avoid the onslaught of all these other interventions if you had a mind to want to do so. And because it's so clearly definable whenever with there is no neovascularization in hyperplasia. There is none. Consequently, one would use that to be the adjudication line, meaning if neovascularization was ever detected on a thermogram, and it would be detected so far ahead of the other three studies, it isn't even funny. Years ahead of when they could be positive for you, the thermogram has the potential to be able to reveal this to you many years before. I think it's an ideal way to get you in a better light and not necessarily have to be exposed to these harsh therapies every year, every two? How often?
Well, I mean, I do it every year, and it just so happens the past 2 years it came back the same.
Exactly.
So what you're telling me is, if I would come in right now before I say I had this surgery, it would light up. It would show that it is something there.
If there is a lesion there with respect to a malignancy,
okay,
it should be easily detectable. Yes, that's what I'm saying. How about that?
Hyperplasia. If there,
no, hyperplasia. No, hyperplasia is not going to be not going to show neovascularization. Okay, I know it's a big word, but it's the ability of a tumor to provoke the formation of brand new blood vessels, and it's easily accessible on a thermogram. And if it is absent, it would be confirming that hyperplasia continues to exist. And if it's ever present, it would be indicative of the fact that we have now moved into a malignancy posture. No longer is it hyperplastic.
right.
Okay? I hope I didn't confuse you. If you want to talk about it more, come on in to see me, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. That was a great question right there, by the way. Just shared with her some of my ways that I look at it. If you have any questions about this, the girls are bongos in the background. I'm going to give your number again, 412-548-3612 for the girls. Find out if they're in your area. If you got specific issues with respect to thermograms you'd like to talk to me about, give us a call here at my office, 724-942-3002. Until next time, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney with Susan and Judy saying so long for AM Impact on Your Health.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, MD, Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road.